as Kenya Nourishing Prosperity Alliance, our main aim as a project is to highlight some of the areas where the farmers who have been doing dairy farming or who have been growing forages over a long period of time have been failing over the recent years, and that's not achieving their yield target. So our main aim right now is to punch as many holes into the normal farmer practice by bringing in improved methods of forage farming. So we'll be looking at areas like farm prep, feeding for the forages, weed management, pest and disease management. All this will have a cumulative effect towards the yield tonnage and the quality of the yield of the forages that the farmer will be growing, and this will have a ripple effect in reducing the cost of production and also increasing the liters of milk a farmer has to produce. We are going to demonstrate on how to properly take a soil sample. And the main reason why we normally take a soil analysis is first to know the different nutrient levels in your soil. Second, just to come up with a very good soil correction program. And the third thing is to enable us to know which pH allows which kind of forages to grow in the different region. So we are going to demonstrate to you how you're supposed to take a soil analysis with you. So with me, I have a soil auger. It's normally a tool used for collecting soil samples. And we are targeting the first 30 centimeters, as you can see. As we all know, that's where most of the feeder routes when it comes to the fodder crops are normally are. So we are targeting to capture the first 30 centimeters of your topsoil. So that's where you're going to do the analysis from. So we are going to take a soil sample. Let's say you have one acre of land. We are normally going to take at least 20 core samples in the different parts of the land. We normally advocate to use the zigzag method. So if you have 1 acre, you just start working on a zigzag method, and then along the zigzag lines always take a core samples, which is taken like this. So you can use the auger and you can dig in slowly and gently, twisting the auger. Then once he pulls it out, you can see we have captured the first 30 centimeters. So this is what I'll call a sub-sample, and we are going to repeat the whole of this process in the whole piece of acre that we have, taking at least 20 of these. So once we have 20 of these, we are going to gently mix the whole mixture into a bucket, and from that whole mixture we are going to sub-sample and take one sample, which is normally half a kg of that. So the half a kg will have represented the entire piece of land that we are intending to do our forage growing there. So once we have the 1 kg, that is what will be shipped over to the lab for analysis. So from the soil analysis results that we normally receive back, we can easily tell whether the soil needs correction or not. And by correction, I mean whether just to check whether the acidity levels in the farm are either high or low, and how to correct that either through application of lime or gypsum or manure if need be. And from the same results, we are able to get the actual amount of planting fertilizer that is needed for growing the forages, and also the time of application, amounts of application. And this also goes on and takes care of also the top dressing, which type of fertilizer to use and the amounts of fertilizers to use. Once the farmer gets it right through application of the right fertilizer and the right amount of fertilizer, he'll get such a crop as you can see. So you'll find that when the plant was being planted, we provided a lot of phosphorus during planting, so the roots were properly made, properly developed, so that it can support the entire crop throughout the growing season. And also when it came to the time of application of the top dress, we also knew which type of fertilizer to use and the amounts to apply and at what rate to apply. So when you do that, you get such a crop, as you can see, which is quite very beautiful. Very vibrant as well, and the stem, as you can see, and you can see that we are already receiving some good yields. So one of the things that smallholder farmers have been really failing on is weed management. Some farmers really don't see the need of weeding their forages, especially because they are really growing it for consumption through the livestock. So most farmers really ignore this fact, and we know weeds really play a big percentage when it comes to the actual tillage and also to the control of just reducing the competition when it comes to the feeding. So as you can see here, some of the things that we really considered were weeds. So we did a very good farm prep, where we did a very good land preparation, ensure there was no weeds as well. We did this early enough, and also during the mid-season we came in and also do the hand. We did the hand weeding in areas where we had small plots, and also employed some sprays in areas where we had large chunks of land, and solely because we just wanted to reduce the competition between the forages that we are growing and the weeds that were present, because we do understand that these reduces the yield to some point. So as you can see, this is how a clean farm looks like in the different parts. So the idea is, if you control the weeds early enough, the plants come and form a canopy. So once the plant form a canopy, they suppress any weeds that might be growing underneath. And this is a very good way of just ensuring the soil moisture is well preserved underneath there. We don't have a lot of weeds competing with the forages for food and water, and this has a ripple effect in increasing the amount of yield that this farmer is going to receive. One of the other things that smallholder farmers have been really failing on is controlling the pests and diseases when it comes to their forages. As we do understand, pests normally have a direct effect to the yield that a farmer is expecting, especially when there's an outbreak to that. Well, in this case, I'll use an instance of probably fall armyworm. As you can see, the fall armyworms, what it normally does, it normally feeds on the forages and the leaves in particular. And as you know, because we are doing forage feeds, especially for the maize silage, we are really interested in the leaves because it forms the bigger chunk or the better part of the forage when it comes to yield. So we basically need the entire plant. So if we don't really control the outbreak of fall armyworms, as an example, this can have a direct effect in the yield of the forages that we get. As you can also see, things like rust, if a farmer does not really tackle such incidences, all these normally have a ripple effect to the yield the farmer is able to do what to get at the end of it. So what we normally do is encourage the farmer to do regular scouting, especially very early in the morning or very late in the afternoon, throughout the season, be it after germination, mid-season, just to see if you can spot some of these pests and diseases early enough. There's really a big notion that if you're growing maize or forage for livestock, you don't really need to check out for pests and diseases. And as an alliance or as KNPA, these are some of the holes that we are trying to fill, but by training and advising farmers that it's advisable just to do either a preventive spray if you're in a locality where we have incidences of pests and diseases, or if you scout and you are able to see presence of pests and diseases, for instance fall armyworm, it's always good and do a mitigation to that, and this is through spraying. So the earlier you tackle the problem, the more chances or the higher chances you have of saving your yields and the quality of feed that you get in the end run.